So let's figure out, as you saw, we have a lot of control with the brushes. We've done a lot with the brushes so far. Let's take it even another step further. I'm going to open up a photo here that I've got, which is this leaf. I just went out and found a picture of a leaf. I'm going to put these two files up with the video, so you should be able to download these files. They should be a zip file called brushes, and you can use these brushes to work along with me, or you can try it on your own as you go. Now, this is a leaf that I downloaded. It's just a color photograph, and it's right here. It's just a green leaf on a white background. What we have to realize and understand when we make brushes do not work in color. They don't. That you would have to you'd make a stamp or some kind of thing like that, rubber stamp, clone stamp, and you could do that, but that's a little different. We're going to get into that later. Right now, what we need to do is take a look at this, and right up here, as you're going to see, I'm going to go out of my brush for a second and see that we're in an RGB file, leaf JPEG. Here it is. What I want to do is I want to go to Image, and I want to go to Image Mode, and I want to take it to grayscale. Because when we work with brushes, brushes only understand grayscale or black and white. So we're going to go in here and we'll say color control, conversion. It's going to say throw away all discard the color. That's fine. And see what it does. It's still a photograph. It's just a grayscale photograph. This is great because look at all the lights and the darks and stuff like that. But really, this photograph is quite flat. Because when we convert it from the color, the RGB to grayscale, it just loses some of the punch. So we're going to want to beef up the color, the contrast in here. So I'm going to come in here and Image, Adjustment, and Levels. You've all seen the levels before. You can see from this histogram, if you remember the movie I did on color correction or correcting an image, we have a lot of midtones, but we don't have that much in the way of shadow, and we don't have that much of a way of highlights. Shadows and highlights. We do have some highlights, and what it's doing is it's picking up this big, huge jump, this spike right here of black. Yeah, that's the background. And then we really don't have, we have all these midtones. So let's beef it up. Let's pull that in a little bit, that shadow slider, so it strengthens the stuff that's going on in the leaf. And then we're going to pull in that highlight slider a little bit. And voila. Look at, we've got a lot more contrast. Look, you can see the darks and the lights and the variation and so on and so forth. This is looking really pretty good here. We're going to hit OK, and it's going to, yes, that was a destructive editing type of situation, because once we did that, it's fine. We didn't use an adjustment layer, but for making a brush, that's just fine. So I am going to do a Select All. So we're going to go to Select All, or a Control or Command A. So we have the marching ants all the way around our image. We're going to come up underneath Edit, and we're going to go to Define Brush Preset. So we're going to hit Define Brush Preset, and here it's automatically going to bring up where you can name it. And this is called Leaf because it's Leaf JPEG, if you notice from the file. So I'm just going to come in here and Leaf 01. Okay? Because I'll make all kinds of custom brushes, and when I add this, will be the last brush that gets added to your brushes panel. So if you go to the very bottom of our brushes panel, so I'm going to hit OK, grab my brushes, and there it is. So let's move out here, and I've got it. So I'm going to click up top just to close that a little bit, and I'm going to I have a Select All, and I'm going to do File New. I'm going to do 8x8 72 dpi, so it's about the same size. Yes, there we go. I'm going to use my left and right brackets. I'm going to make my brush a little smaller. So if I click and paint, just by clicking, look what it does. You now are creating, and I use the green color here. I've got the green color. If I hit X on the keyboard to make it red, and notice how it's giving us a little transparency on our leaf. How cool is that? We just created a custom brush. You can bring in any photo. You can bring in a logo. You can bring in somebody's face. You could do anything you want to make a custom brush. You just make sure it's black and white. You define it as a preset, and then you use it. So let's select all that again, and we're going to delete all this. And this time, like we did before, let's go back into our brushes panel, and let's go to and click on this finer brush, size and everything else like that. So now let's go to the shape dynamics. So the shape dynamics, let's change the jitter a little bit so it's going to go a little crazy, and the diameter a little bit, and the angle jitter so it bounces around a little bit. And then we're going to go right to the scattering. And the scattering, we're going to open that up a little bit. So if you notice, if you open up that jitter and the scattering, and then we come into the color dynamics, because this is a fall leaf, let's really bump up that and the saturation jitter and now let's see if we get something that looks more like fall leaves when we paint. Look at that! Now if we drop that hue jitter down and close that out like that, so the hue jitter goes down quite a bit, so it's just the green. Let's open it up just a little bit, and we have the red and the green and paint, and it's not going to do so much, so we'll just undo, jump it up a little bit more, and look at that. We've got some fall colors happening, things that are going on. And go to the transfer and the flow jitter and paint along. And now we've got some really cool, fun leaf things happening. So taking a brush or an image and doing it ourselves, you have so much control. You can do so many cool things. And when you have a pressure-sensitive tablet, this is great, because when you start out light over here and push down harder as you go, you'll get less leaves, more leaves, and then less leaves. So you get a nice feel. I have a tablet at the office. I should show you a tablet setup, do a movie with that, and I will. But this is how we make our own brushes, and again, we can do some really cool, fun things. So the next movie, let's take a look at a brush that we can use in a real-life situation and do some really cool things that are more than just this fun images in the background, okay?